Boring is profitable and profitable is fun. That's a phrase I heard from a client of mine. His name was David Dugan. This was a couple years ago. But that's a phrase that kept coming back to me in this interview I had with someone named Lars. Now, Lars is in real estate and he made boring ass stuff work really well and be hugely profitable. And if you want to know the details, then you're going to want to watch this episode, because for me, it was extremely interesting, because I find that we're sabotaging ourselves so much as entrepreneurs when we always try to do what's fun, exciting. Called shiny object syndrome.
The Content Capitalist Podcast.
When you said you quit your corporate job, got into real estate, then had some success and started coaching people, and you started doing that because it was really hard. You wanted to get people like a jump start. What was the hardest part for you? What were the biggest challenges in getting started in real estate?
It's really boring, making a lot of money in a thing. And so all I did for the first 3 years was I had like one lead source, so I figured out it was CRAIGSLIST at the time. I would run these little sort of like ugly yellow and black. Back then you could post like linkable images in CRAIGSLIST, and I would have a ugly yellow and black ad that would go to a simple landing page. It would generate a lead. I would call the lead, put them in a database, email sequence if they weren't ready, call them in half the time they said, like really boring, sort of mind numbing stuff. There was nothing exciting about it. But I sold a ton of homes doing it, like 71 homes before the end of my first full year. And an average agent sells about 7 homes a year, so I knew that like just generating a lead, calling it, being organized,
And did you figure this out on your own, or did you?
No, I hired a coach like within a month of getting into real estate. So I was instantly, I was at an event, I got into real estate March 2007. I was at a coaching event, April 2007. I signed up for the coaching. Back then, I didn't realize that events were just a way to sell you into coaching. I was all like, oh my gosh, they're offering coaching. What a great opportunity.
Well, it paid off, didn't it? Like,
for sure.
You're doing 10x what an average first year realtor is doing.
100%. Right? You said it was just a simple 1-page script, one lead source. Then I
keep repeating the same thing. You didn't have to get creative and do lip syncing or hire copywriters.
Yeah,
or like
and that lead source continued for like 15 years. So I wasn't doing it, but I just got other people to do it that couldn't figure out lead gen or lead conversion or So I think to answer your question, it was more like I was willing to do the thing long enough to get really good at it, so that I can build a system around it and I can get someone else to do it.
If you're just starting out in business and you're probably looking for the fastest path to getting a lot of money, a lot of profits, and growing your business quickly, quickest way I found that works is to hire someone who's already done that before successfully, and that would come in the form of a coach. So he's going to talk through how he hires coaches, and he also does something else. It's called R&D, but not the R&D that you're thinking about. So go ahead and watch that and see what his definition of R&D is, and you can judge for yourself if it's ethical or unethical. Let's circle back for a second to when you made this transition to coaching. What I love is how you mentioned that when you went into real estate, you found a coach and they just taught you this thing called lead gen, and it worked out really well. In coaching, did you do the same thing? Did you go find a coach to help you learn to coach, or did you just kind of go into someone else's course, kind of understand what the moving parts are and go from there? How'd that transition go?
Yeah, I remember the first thing, I 100% did that again. I'm like, there's no way. I mean, there are guys and girls that have figured out this space, but I probably went in a bunch of different directions. I mean, I got into Taki's world in 2015, so that was just 2 years into coaching. So I was in the first boardroom when there's only like 8 of us in a room. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I do believe that, others have cracked the code on a thing. And if you need that thing, so in your, not to pimp you out, but so many people have not figured out video and content and slice and dice and like all of it. But everyone that wants to have a big impact in the world needs to crack the code on that. So why try to figure it out yourself when people have already figured it out? I've done that in everything I've done. I've got, like 3 coaches now that I'm working with that are helping me with different pieces of my business or my life. And so I do believe, just modeling and essentially R&Ding, rip off and duplicating what others have done is the quickest way to success.
R&D, rip off and duplicate. I never heard that one before.
Yeah, that's the way.
That's a good one. That's a good one. If I offered you $1 in one hand and $1 million in the other hand, which one would you be more excited to take? I think that 9 out of 10 people who watch this will be more excited to take the $1 million. But in this case, there's a reason why he got way more excited for earning $1 than $1 million. So I'm gonna let him break down that story for you in this next section. Could you remember the moment where you realized, hey, we did 7 figures this year? And what did that do for you? And how long did it take to get there?
I remember I went down the one-on-one path, and that made me $650K in my first year. But I didn't love
That's
it.
not bad.
No, it was awesome.
You just
I
didn't
had
love
no
all
overhead.
the hours, right?
Yeah, I
No
had
life.
no overhead, but I had 21 one-on-one clients, and that was not my gig. So I converted over to more of a group, more leverage format. And I think we did over $1.2 million, $1.3 million that first year we shifted over, because it freed me up to do some stuff on the marketing side and to put more content out there. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world to be able to sort of share my wins and losses in an open way and speak freely. And I had agents on my team, my real estate team, that didn't listen to anything I said. And then I had people paying me, $1,800 or at the time, $2,500 a month that would listen to everything I said. But the coolest thing was when I first started, I built out my curriculum by charging $197 a month, but it came with a $1 free. First month is $1. I remember it was a Friday night where I had just set up my merchant account. I got the first person to pay me $1. That was cooler than the 15, 20 million that I've generated, in the last 9 years or so. That first $1 was the coolest, because I'm like, somebody just gave me $1. I made money, so that was really, really cool.
That is something special. It's like fire, like you made it work. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this podcast recap. If you want to watch the full version, a whole hour of me and Lars going at it with his backstory and all the details for when he got from just earning $1 to millions of dollars every single year in his business, you want to click right around here to watch that full episode. Again, thank you so much for watching to the end. Make sure you click the links down in the description to get access to everything else that I have online. That's it for now, and I'll see you next time.